What the heck is up, you guys? It's your boy Ace, aka Animated Heroes here, back with another action figure review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Revoltech amazing Yamaguchi Batman Arkham Knight Batman. And guys, you probably don't know this, but out of every figure announcement this year, this has been the one I have been the most excited for. Yo, I love Batman. I really enjoyed this trilogy, even though I didn't beat this game. It was too many Batmobile missions, but I still did enjoy it. But yeah, I am truly looking forward to this review. So let's go ahead and get into it, starting off with that unsexy packaging. Now again, this is yet another figure. I can only imagine how dope the box art would have been if Kaiyodo Revoltech was still implementing their old art style for their packages, but sadly, we've grown to know that this is what we're going to be getting. As you guys can see, we've got this dope image of the figure right there. It says Revoltech Amazing Yamaguchi on the side, Batman Arkham Knight version. On this side, you've got it kind of posed up right here, looking cool. Nothing much at the top, nothing much at the bottom. On this side right here, you've got a few images of him up close, looking sick once again. And then, of course, on the back, you've got the figure all posed up, just looking so damn amazing. Looking like he walked right out of the game. And then you've got all the accessories displayed out right here. Guys, this is going to be fun, man. This is going to be fun, and I'm looking forward to it. So let's go ahead and bust him out of the packaging. Now, straight out of the packaging, y'all, I am going to go ahead and say it. This is probably my favorite Batman action figure that I have ever touched, yo. This thing right here is, I love this thing, man. And I'm not the biggest fan of the Arkham Knight costume, but in action figure form, with all the craziness that this costume offers, it just makes this figure so exceptional. Seeing that Kaiyodo Revoltech was basically able to implement every aspect of this suit into 6-inch figure form and make it look this damn good, yo. This looks sick, man. I love the way this figure looks under a white light. I love the cape on this thing, the sculpt work, the detail, and there is a lot of it, yo. There is a lot. This thing, yeah, this is definitely going in my top 10 of 2024 as long as it doesn't have any problems. Now, that being said, this is an action figure review, so of course I have to critique it fairly. As of right now, just looking at this figure straight out of the package, I feel like Revoltech really focused on the bulkiness of this figure, which is something they're known for. They make their figures very thick. They love the exaggerated thighs, the biceps and forearms with the wide torsos and midsections. That doesn't bother me too much unless the height or scale of the figure isn't exactly what it should be. Now, when it comes to this Batman here, I feel like these proportions aren't exactly inaccurate, but I do feel like the height on him is a little bit off because this Batman kind of looks more on the short and stocky or short and bulky side rather than tall and bulky. Because I mean, this Batman was pretty big, yo. Like, he would tower over people, especially the enemies or henchmen that you took out in the game. So it does appear to be on the smaller side. As of right now, that's the only issue I have with it. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a closer look at him so we can examine these fine details. Now, getting up close and personal with this guy, the first thing I'm going to go ahead and give my comments on are the eyes. I know some people don't like Batman with eyes showing beneath the cowl, but at the end of the day, yo, this is a guy in a costume, and this is supposed to be him in a more realistic look. Now, obviously, nothing he does is realistic, but still, this is supposed to be him with a more realistic look, so you're going to see the pupils, which are perfectly fine with me. I think they look good. The cowl and everything looks very nice. You got a bunch of sculpt work and detail on pretty much every single part of this figure. Like, there is nothing simplistic about this action figure at all. There's just sculpt work everywhere you look. The shoulder pads, the torso, obviously. You got some silvers, some grays, some darker grays, lighter grays, some blacks. Everything is going on with this guy. And the same thing with the arm, or the arms. I love that they've got some sculpted wrinkles in there. And speaking of the arms, putting them back a little bit, if you guys look at this figure, this is probably my second issue with this guy. It's the fact that he's so bulky. You can't really get the arms to just sit flush like they're down by his side. They kind of just stick out a little bit all the time. So it basically looks like he's always getting ready to go to combat. And I mean, in this game, he technically was. But I would love to get that just kind of hanging to the side, more relaxed arms, Batman. But yeah, he's just way too chunky for that. It's just not gonna happen. I say chunky, I keep disrespecting this guy. He is not chunky, yo. This guy is pure muscle. But yeah, you've got more sculpt work in the gloves here, or the gauntlets. You can see you got some silvers in there. You got what almost looks like some spikes on the gloves, which they're not. Batman don't need all that. No brass knuckles or nothing, man. These gloves are probably, they probably pack a wallop themselves. But yeah, from front to back, yo, look at that, man. Sculpt work all on the back. The belt looks really freaking good. You can see he's got gadgets hanging all off of this thing. And you never know what he's going to pull out of these pouches, yo, to overcome whatever challenge stands in front of him, because he's the GOAT and he's always ready, yo. The legs, the beefy thighs, man, the thunder thighs look really freaking good. Now, this leg does come off a little easier than I wanted to. It does peg back on there, but it doesn't stay on as well as this one. So that's one minor issue I have. But I mean, once it's on there and you get imposed up, it is fine. You've got some little silver, whatever these are, buttons or something right here. And then all the way down to the feet, yo, just a bunch of freaking sculpt work, yo. I don't know if this is accurate or over accurate or what, but this is just crazy, man. And this is a freaking, I think, what, $80 figure. This is one of those where you're paying for the sculpt, and that's okay. I'm perfectly fine with that. And then I forgot to talk about the neck, but even under the neck, yo, tons and tons of sculpted detail, man. Just, this is really freaking good. And the paint is so clean. It just makes this figure look so damn good, man. And if the figure itself wasn't enough, you've got the cape to complement it, yo. It's this like pleather-esque material that can really hold a freaking pose, man. Look at that, dog. Look at that, man. This is so freaking good, man. I love this. Y'all have no idea how much I love this. I really do. Anyway, let's go ahead and put him back so we can see how tall he stands. When it comes to the height on this figure, to the top of his bat ear, he's right at about 7 inches. To the top of his head, he is right at about 6.5 inches. And so I guess to keep this figure in scale the way they were supposed to, that's why it has the height that it does. I do feel like it could have been a tad bit taller, but I'm not going to say anything's wrong with it because technically it is a 1/12 scale figure and it is within that scale. So that's still a good job on Kaiyodo Revoltech, even though I would have preferred for it to be a tad bit taller. Articulation-wise, despite all his bulkiness, Batman looks up, yo. So those gliding in poses are not going to be a problem at all. That is so freaking good. Or you can even get him like looking up at the bat symbol whenever Commissioner Gordon has it turned on. Like this is crazy, yo. He looks down just as well, not just as good. Yeah, definitely not looking down as much as he looks up, but still really good. He does get tilt and turn, so that's great. When it comes to this piece right here, I don't know why this is a floating piece, but these do kind of lift up. I guess because they're over the cape, but you just kind of push them down and kind of hide them. When it comes to the shoulders, this is the weird part here. The cape is attached to the shoulder pad, which is attached to the inner hinge joint that is pegged into the figure. And I know that sounded like a lot with just me saying it, and I don't know how to explain it any better than that. I do feel like they should not have pegged the cape into the shoulder pads, because when you're posing this guy around, it is going to bring that cape outward. And if you don't want it posing like that, then obviously you're not going to like it. But it's not too bad. You can use the wiring to kind of bring it back. But I feel like the more you do that, you are running the risk of kind of messing with the I forget what it's even called, the wiring in these to make them articulate. So that is something you're going to have to be careful with. But the shoulders do move around just fine. As you can see, bringing the arms in is not going to be a problem. So you can really get him in those guard poses. Now, single jointed elbows because of how bulky he is, which makes sense. He does have a bicep swivel as well. But you got to kind of rotate it separately after grabbing onto the shoulder joint, because these two joints, they do like to move together in unison. So you do have to hold the upper joint to move the lower joint, which is fine. He does also swivel at the elbow, so that's good. Hands are on a hinge joint. I really wish they would stick to pegs, but yeah, as you can see, they move around just fine. Now, when it comes to the movement going forward and back, you have no problem with those butterfly joints at all. No freaking problem. So that is really good. And I love how they do these 3 separation pieces at the chest, and they constantly make it work. Sometimes it looks ugly on certain figures, but you can never say that it doesn't work. And it looks a whole lot better on armored figures like this Batman. So that's cool. Now at the diaphragm, look at that, yo. He crunches forward so good. And for all those people that like to give other action figure companies or make all these excuses saying, oh, he's got an armored chest piece, he's not going to be able to move forward. Look at this, yo. Look at this. He does. He moves forward just fine and back, yo. And you know what? There's no freaking gapping in there at all. And so it is definitely possible, man. You just need the right people working on it, because mobility is endless right here, yo, despite the fact that he's got all this armor and sculpted detail on here. And if you use the waist, he goes forward even more. This is, man, bro, this might be my figure of the year. I almost cussed. I am loving this thing, yo. He leans back all the way, swivels at the waist, no problem. When it comes to the legs, again, this one came off, so I'm gonna leave this one alone. He does, oh, the belt actually separates for articulation purposes, which that's no surprise. Revoltech has done that before. This is where it gets a little disappointing, I guess. The legs don't really kick forward much before they pop off. So that kind of sucks. Oh, man, yo. I was sure that the leg articulation was going to be good, but he really only kicks out about that much going forward. And then kicking outward, you get a little bit better, so that's cool. He's going to do those split poses a bit better. So when you have him kicking, you'll probably just have to pose him up like this, just kind of like in this martial arts kicking style right here, because kicking forward, it's just not going to work with the way that this figure is designed. Now, there is going to be some separation at the belt, but they do still have some wiring sculpted, so it does look like the belt's still kind of in unison whenever he gets in these kicking poses. Now, he does have a built-in thigh swivel. Not particularly a fan of this design, but at the end of the day, it works, so I'm not going to complain too much. Again, that leg popping off. I don't like that. Don't like that. But the knees look really good. They move very, very well, so that's fine. At the foot right here, now this is where I knew we were going to run into some issues. The foot, it goes down more than I thought. All right, okay, a little bit more than I thought. And then going up, you kind of got to tuck it back underneath this flat piece right here, so you do get that. And then he has a little bit of range at the ankle pivot, so that is good. I wouldn't leave it too long because it feels like you might warp this piece right here. What is this on? Is that on a hinge? I can't tell. I don't know if that piece is meant to move. It's very hard to tell, but it does move. Let's see. Oh, it's on a hinge. Okay, it is on a hinge. All right, so yeah, for the extra mobility, they put this floating piece on a hinge. That is sick, dog. yo, this is crazy. And then the toe hinge is freaking froze, but it's not on this one. And so, yeah, articulation wise, very, very good, except for the legs, yo. The legs are just not it. That kind of sucks, but everything else, absolutely wonderful. Now, when it comes to accessories, you don't get a whole lot, but I definitely think you get enough. First off, he comes out of the package with this neutral head sculpt and a pair of fist hands. Sadly, he doesn't come with any other facial expressions. You do get a teeth gritted facial expression if you bought the Kaiyodo Revoltech store exclusive, but I'm so sick of them doing that, yo. It's like 30 bucks more for an extra faceplate. It's absolutely ridiculous. I feel like he should have came with that regardless, and they could have thrown in another accessory for this guy since he doesn't come with any other expressions. But yeah, a neutral expression, 2 pair of fist hands. He comes with 2 different batarangs. One where you have the blue here, which I think is the homing batarang, which is the one that is remote controlled. And then you do have the regular batarang as well. He does come with several sets of hands, one including the line launcher, a pair of kind of spiraled out hands, and then 2 batarang holding hands. And when it comes to the line launcher, you do get 2 pieces that attach onto both ends, both of them having claws to hold on to whatever he is line lunging from. So that's cool. And then here are the ends, so you guys can take a look at those. So that's dope. And then he does come with, I don't remember what this gadget is called, but I'm just going to call it the code breaker, because you have these 2 separate pieces here, as you guys can see, and this piece right here actually pegs into there. And what this is used for is to actually hold up the codes that he comes with. And if you look at that, it does say scanning for data connection. You can probably barely see that, but yeah, he comes with a few of these, yo. I'm not gonna read them all, but I'm gonna show them to you. He comes with this one. Let's see if I can flip it. Airship stability control, interface out of range, security access panel hack device. And I'm sitting here reading them all to you guys, and I said I wasn't. And then he comes with the password accepted. So this is freaking, man, dog. That's probably one of the most creative accessories I've ever seen in my life, because if you guys have played these games, then you know you got to be able to get those codes to get through certain doors, or just all kinds of puzzles and riddles in the game. It's like a very, very important thing to do to help you move forward in these games. And so the fact that they included that, and not only did they include it, they included 5 different things, yo. That is freaking nuts, yo. Kaiyodo Revoltech is crazy with the accessories sometimes. So that is dope. And then last but not least, he does come with this piece right here for if you want to move the eyes. You can have him kind of looking to the side, forward, or you can roll the eyes back and just have the all white eyes for the people that like to do that. I don't. I'm fine with this how it is. So yeah, when it comes to accessories, they went wild. And of course, he does come with a flight stand, as all Kaiyodo Revoltech action figures do. Moving on to size comparisons, here Batman is standing next to a couple of other Batman figures from different lines. First off, we have the DC Icons Rebirth Batman, which, do you guys remember DC Icons? This line could have been so peak if DC Collectibles had just locked in, but instead, you know, they love to give up on stuff and just let it go. Imagine if they were still making these to this day, how good they would be. Anyway, we've also got him standing next to a Mafex Masterpiece Batman, and then we've got him standing next to an SH Figure Arts Christopher Nolan Batman. Next up, here he is standing next to an SH Figure Arts Suicide Squad Deadshot, the SH Figure Arts Injustice Harley Quinn, and an SH Figure Arts Dark Knight Joker. Lastly, here he is standing next to an SH Figure Arts Suicide Squad Joker, a Mattel Alfred, I believe. I don't know why they made this figure so damn tall, but yeah, it is an Alfred figure. And then we've also got him standing next to the Marvel Legends 2-pack Renew Your Vows Spider-Man. Now, when it comes to my final thoughts on this figure, this thing is definitely dope, man. Like, this is such a good figure. I said it at the beginning of the video. I'm saying it again now. I absolutely love this thing. And I think a lot of it has to do with my Batman bias, because at the end of the day, I can still point out that it does have some flaws. The proportions, from me, I just feel like he should be a tad bit taller. Now, that could just be my own personal nitpick, so I'm not going to say it's necessarily a problem with the figure. That's just something I personally wanted to throw out there. Now, one problem that I did run into is the legs, yo. The legs constantly pop off of this figure, man. No matter what I'm doing, if I try to pose him in any kind of kicking poses, or even just with the legs out, kind of like I have him right now, these legs are popping off at the thigh. I've tried to make sure that I've got them fully connected. They don't really click when you peg them in, so you just kind of got to go with it. It doesn't give you that satisfaction of, okay, this thing's going to stay on right now. Now, maybe if I put some oil in the socket of the cross joint, that might help with the movement of the legs, but they just feel really, really stiff, man. And I hate how limited they are in articulation when it comes to moving the legs forward. That's really going to hurt this figure if you ever want to get him in any kind of running poses or anything like that, certain kind of gliding inward poses. And they showcase them like they work so well on the packaging, as you guys can see. And I'm pretty sure you could get those poses, but it is a bit of a problem when you're trying to do it, especially with the legs constantly coming off. I find myself having to move the joint underneath the thigh by itself and then reconnecting the leg after it falls off. So yeah, that does kind of suck. Another thing is the cape. I don't like how they have the cape tucked underneath the shoulder joint, because sometimes I might want all of the cape to blow in one direction, but I might want this arm going forward. Whichever direction you have the arms going, the cape is going to flow that way. And so it kind of creates a problem when you have an ideal pose that you're going for and you want your cape to look a certain way. Now, I'm pretty sure that would be an easy mod for someone who's a customizer. Hell, I could probably do it myself, but I don't know how they're pegged in underneath that cape, and I am not about to take this figure apart to try to figure out. So yeah, I do really wish that they had just tucked the cape maybe further off into the chest piece, gave us some stronger bendy wire, and then you would still be able to maneuver the cape however you want to. Now, other than that, actually one other issue, I do think he should have came with the teeth gritted faceplate. I definitely think he should have came with the teeth gritted faceplate. Therefore, we could at least get two different expressions out of this guy. It would have been cool if the bonus face was some kind of like yelling, screaming face or something like that, or even a Bruce Wayne head that they could have thrown in. But I do feel like this figure should have gotten at least two expressions, and so that is definitely a miss. But overall, it's solid, yo. I do enjoy this figure. I said it was probably going to be on my top 10 list. I definitely think that it will. But now that I am finished reviewing it and I've been able to go and overlook everything, I don't think it's going to be number one on the list. It's not like it's going to be my figure of the year as I thought it was going to be, but it's still very freaking solid. Now, from what I've seen, this figure is sold out everywhere. I'm pretty sure you could probably get it on Big Bad Toy Store. They do ask for an $11 deposit if you plan on getting this guy. So yeah, just be wary of that. Other than that, you're probably going to pay scalper price if you decide to get this figure. This is one I definitely recommend experiencing if you are a Batman fan. Anyway, I've already talked enough. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. That always helps me out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you hit that bell icon so you're notified whenever I upload new content. And last but not least, follow me on everything you see listed in the description below to keep all my activity outside of YouTube. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe wherever you are, and bye.